Welcome back, dear language enthusiasts. This is Daniel Goodson, the host of My Fluent podcast. I want to welcome you back to this show, and this time I'm gonna ramble quite a bit about this and that, but of course, the most important thing is that I am talking about language learning. I myself am a passionate English, French, and Spanish learner. So let's get started.
Hello guys, I really encourage you to listen to My Fluent podcast. Zachęcam Was bardzo serdecznie do słuchania podcastu Daniela Goodsona.
Learn from and with an English learner.
Si vous souhaitez améliorer vos techniques d'apprentissage de langue, écoutez My Fluent podcast.
While measuring our own target speaking skills, I think we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves, because there are a lot of elements to consider, such as the degree of exposure to your target language. The more exposure you get, the better you will become in your target language. And that's, by the way, also the reason I decided to start out with this podcast. And in the very beginning of my Fluent podcast, I had to script all my podcast episodes because it was too hard to just speak freely. So this episode is not scripted at all, but on the other hand, it will become a bit unorganized, I think. Instead of scripting the whole episode, I just speak a few sentences. Of course, I record them, I re-listen to them, and then I go on. I go forward one or two sentences after the other. It's quite a different method. But if you were listening to my previous episode, you know that I am very glad to experiment from time to time and to just try out and see if it works. And especially these days, we have a lot of different kind of possibilities to improve our language. The recording devices, for example, they are pretty strong these days, and it's a powerful method to record yourself and to listen to yourself and see if you can spot different mistakes. And it doesn't matter at all if you're making mistakes. At the contrary, it is important to make mistakes, but the crucial thing is, in my opinion, that you learn from your mistakes and that you're aware of them. And of course, it takes some time. You need to be engaged to go forward with your language. And so I decided to start out with my Fluent podcast and get as much exposure as possible. I want to speak in my podcast, but I want to speak with people as well. And I want to interview people, and I try to read a lot, and I watch films in English, sometimes with subtitles. I mean, it is quite obvious to me that 2 lessons a week won't do the trick for me. I can't improve my speaking skills by only sitting in a school class in a rather passive way. And to be honest, I get the impression that, well, a little bit my English improved since April, especially my speaking English, as I am used to speak more often now. And I want to give you another example. At the office, I work with a colleague who is French. So I decided to make a new habit, and I only spoke in French to her. And to me, it has become quite normal to talk in French to her, and that way my French could become better. I think that's it for today. And I say, have a good one.